Hi and welcome. I am Kate and we are going to get right into a quick flow. You can do it in the morning if you want to get a little chance to wake up your body. So we are going to get right to it. Grab yourself 2 blocks and a strap if you want. Find yourself a quiet place to roll out your mat and I will see you in a few. Okay, so get yourself comfortable. You can find a blanket if you want, or a couch cushion, or something that you can sit comfortably on. Take a moment to let your shoulders relax down away from your ears and let your eyes slide closed. And give yourself a few breaths to kind of gather, to welcome your body to the mat, to welcome your mind back into your body and your breath as well. Sometimes when we roll out our mat and we sit down, it takes us a little bit of time to kind of get it together. So as you sit, feel your shoulders relax down away from your ears. Feel your sitting bones root into the floor and give yourself a few breaths to get it together. This is going to be called Get It Together Yoga today. It seems appropriate. And just feel your sitting bones relax down into the floor. And gently lengthen up through the crown of your head so there's some energy in your body even as you sit and soften. And breathe. And at first, just breathe the breath that feels natural to you. Don't worry about changing it. Don't worry about making it something that it isn't. Just breathe. And after a couple of breaths, if it feels natural to do so, then start to lengthen your breath. Feel yourself expand a little more on your inhale and feel yourself come back to center on your exhale and stay with that slightly deeper breath. Drawing in and letting go. And with every exhale, see if you can release a little bit more tension from your jaw and your neck, your shoulders, your hips. Take another breath here. And when you exhale, slowly lower your chin to your chest. Feel the tips of your shoulder blades glide in toward each other on your back. And then shake your head gently side to side. And inhale, roll that right ear up over your right shoulder. And exhale, roll down through center. And inhale, come on up to the other side. And exhale, you're going to pendulum down through the middle and back up to the right one more time. And down through the middle. And back up to the left. And then bring your head back down through center. On your next inhale, you're going to lift your head, open your eyes, and come on into downward facing dog. We're not going to waste any time. So spread your fingers, tuck your toes, press into the thumb side of the hands, those index finger knuckles, and just bend one knee, press the opposite heel down, walk through the backs of your legs. Start to wake up your legs here. We'll worry about the shoulders in a minute. Just work out the legs. That's it. And then find a steady down dog. Take your feet a little bit wider than hips distance apart. Come high into the balls of your feet and let both feet drop over to the right. And press into the hands. Drag your sitting bones up and back. Breathe into that left side. You press into your left hand. And then inhale, come back up through the middle. And when you exhale, let both feet fall over to the left. And press through the right hand. Drag back through your sitting bones. And then inhale, come back up through the middle. And when you exhale, send your heels toward the earth. Inhale, come forward into your plank. When you exhale, drop your knees to the floor. Gonna untuck your toes, let your hips drop down, and then you're gonna slowly roll the shoulders back. Bend those elbows, hug them in, hug them in, hug them in, until you headbutt the blocks in front of you. Roll your shoulders back. Lift your chest, nice baby cobra as you lengthen the sides of your neck. You're gonna look to the right, and then look to the left. And bring your head back through, press into your hands. Come on up, slide your hips back to your heels. Take a child's pose, but keep the arms outstretched in front. And then once you start to relax your chest down under your thighs, bend your elbows, let everything soften. Maybe even your forehead can hit the floor. And if it doesn't, you can always take your hands and stack your fists and rest here. And just breathe into the back of your body. And then inhale, come back up into your table. Feel your shoulders stack over your wrists, hips stack over your knees, and you're gonna take your gaze over your right shoulder. And then wrap your outer right hip around toward your nose. You're gonna come into like a nice C curve with the spine. And when you breathe, you wanna take your breath into that left side. Feel the left rib cage start to open. Inhale, come back through the middle. And when you exhale, you're gonna do the same thing to the left. Look over your left shoulder, wrap your outer left hip around like you could touch the two together. And breathe into this right side rib cage. And then inhale, you're gonna bring yourself back through center. Exhale again, downward facing dog. Take those hips, send them up, reach them back. Shake out your head. And then we're gonna work into the shoulders just a bit. So you're gonna come forward into plank, lower that right forearm to the floor, lower the left forearm to the floor. You can always interlace the fingers if you'd like, and you can always drop your knees, depending on where you are today. And then from here, you're just gonna start to walk the feet in and come into a gentle dolphin. Is there such a thing? We're gonna check it out. So you're gonna press into the thumbs, start to wrap those inner wrists down toward the floor and press your chest back toward your thighs. You can keep your knees bent. This is just about the upper back. It's about the shoulders. And then we're gonna walk the feet back, come into a forearm plank just for a moment. We're gonna wake up your core, inhale. And when you exhale, drop your hips to the floor, untuck your toes, roll the shoulders back. And as you lengthen your tailbone toward your heels, stretch your chest forward toward your thumbs. Find your Sphinx. And then slowly lower yourself down. And as you go, slide your hands under your shoulders, tuck your toes, this time up and back, downward facing dog. You can move through table if you want. Okay, now you're gonna take your gaze back toward your feet and walk your hands back to meet them. Back of the mat, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. You can take your hands to your shins for the first one. Exhale and fold. Press into your feet. Inhale, come all the way up, Urdhva Hastasana. Extend up and out through those fingertips. And exhale, drag your hands down through center. Samastitihi. Roll the shoulders back. Feel the energy press into your feet. Inhale, sweep those arms up. Exhale and dive, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen out. When you exhale, you're gonna fold. So you're gonna shift your weight into your right foot. Press down into this right foot so much so that you can start to drag the left foot up and then kick it back behind you. Just one gentle standing split. You can always have the blocks underneath your hands, or you can bend this right knee. I'm gonna press the floor away, gaze forward, and we're gonna walk the hands up, coming into a down dog split. Keep the hips square here as you lift up through your left heel. And now we're gonna stack this left hip open, bend the knee. Take a second to make some circles in the hips. Roll it out. And then in the other direction, you can get those pops and cracks and snaps out. And then you're gonna inhale, square it off. Gaze forward. When you exhale, step this left foot up between the thumbs. Lower your back knee. Inhale, reach the arms up. Scissor your inner thighs. Keep lifting the low belly away from the top of your thigh as you sink a little deeper into your hips. Inhale, reach up into your fingertips. When you exhale, we're gonna take this right hand down to the floor, left hand to your thigh, and just work into a gentle twist here. And sweep your left arm up. That feels good. Keep rolling your right rib cage underneath you. Inhale. And when you exhale, we're gonna come back down, left hand onto this left thigh. Keep the twist in your torso, and we're just gonna slowly start to bend that right knee. You can take your gaze back. Maybe you can wag your toes at you. Whatever it may be, maybe you stay right here, or you can take this left hand around, grab for the outer edge of this left foot, sink the hips. If you feel like you're a mile away from that foot, you can always grab a block and place it underneath your right hand. You can also always grab a strap and throw it around your foot. You're gonna roll these left toes open, sink the hips, and then lean back. Like you could peel your chest away from your inner thigh here. Think about kind of rolling everything open. Inhale. And then exhale, take the hands to the floor, step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward into your plank. Exhale, lower those knees, chest and chin, launch off your toes, little baby cobra, curl it up, inhale. And then exhale, release your forehead, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Gaze back at those lovely feet of yours, and then walk your hands back to meet them. Inhale, halfway lift, shoulder blades into your back, extend through your chest. Exhale and fold. Press into your feet, inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands down through prayer. Let's do it again on the other side. Inhale, take the arms and reach out and up. Exhale, dive over your legs. Halfway lift, fill with air. And fold. You're gonna shift right onto this left foot. Right, you're gonna plug the right leg in and then sweep it back behind you. Press into the floor with your left foot. Sometimes we kind of sink into the hip here, but you wanna keep some energy pushing down and make some space between the head of that left leg bone and the hip. Inhale, you're gonna gaze forward and then slowly start to walk the hands forward, down dog split. Inhale here, nice square hips, and then we stack it open, bend your knee, and start to make some circles over here. Maybe there's some more pops and cracks to get out. And then in the other direction with the circles. All right, and then take the leg, stretch it straight back behind you, and slowly gaze forward, step it up. Drop the left knee to the mat. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Crescent or Anjaneyasana, crescent lunge, whatever. Sink the hips. Scissor those inner thighs. Inhale. And when you exhale, take your right hand down, left hand to the floor. Start to roll open. And if you want, you can free that top arm. Stretch those right fingertips up toward the ceiling. Inhale here. And then let your right hand return to your thigh for a moment. You're gonna take your gaze over that shoulder, bend your left knee. And maybe this is where it stops. That's okay. Maybe you can grab a block, put it underneath your hand, grab a strap and wrap it around. We're gonna reach for that left foot. And whenever you catch it, you wanna walk your hands up and around so you're on the pinky toe edge of the foot. So you've got the thumb pointing up toward the sky. Gonna roll these right toes open just a little bit. Sink your hips and roll that right shoulder back. And again, you just wanna think about peeling yourself away, like you're peeling a banana, right? And your chest is just gonna open away from that inner right thigh. Inhale. And when you exhale, we release. Tuck those back toes again, step it back. Downward facing dog. Gaze to your feet. And when you exhale, you're gonna walk back again. Uttanasana, back of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Press the floor away. Rise up, root into your feet. Lengthen into your fingertips. And then press your palms overhead. Pull it down through the middle. Samastitihi. Okay, Let's do it again. We'll add a little juice this time. Inhale, take your arms, reach them out and up. And as you exhale, dive forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. And as you exhale, fold, we're gonna shift the weight into your right foot. Plug that left leg in, sweep it back behind you. And as you push through this left heel, maybe take your right hand to your ankle or to the back of your calf. Maybe you can start to shift your both hands to your ankle. Whoop. And find a bit of balance. Yes. And then return your fingertips to the floor. Take your gaze toward the top of the mat and walk it forward. Down dog split. Inhale. When you exhale, knee to nose, hug it in. Inhale, take it up and back. When you exhale, we're going to step this left foot forward. Windmill that back heel down. Come all the way up, warrior two. All right, flip your left palm. Let your right hand come down to your right thigh. Gonna stretch this left arm up and lengthen out of your waist. Make some space here between the top of this left thigh and the bottom of your ribs. And then start to like drag your fingers across the ceiling. Come into your reverse warrior. And notice here if you start to pop out of this left knee, you wanna lengthen down into the thigh. Ha-ha. That's it. Inhale, come back up into your warrior two. When you exhale, you're going to take this left forearm down to the top of the thigh. Sweep the right arm alongside your ear. Parsvakonasana, a little side angle action here. So you want to hug this outer left hip in and underneath you. So we got a little scissoring action here. We're not kind of bunking out behind and getting sloppy, but everything pulls in toward the midline. Lengthen your tailbone down the inner edge of your right leg, and then feel some of that energy come back up through this whole right side body. Inhale. And when you exhale, we're going to take this right hand down to the floor, pivot on the ball of your back foot, keep the right thigh lifted. Let's start to swing yourself open to the left. Nice deep breath. And then drop your left hand to the floor, step back through plank. Inhale. And then exhale, lower knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Elbows stay close into the body. Baby cobra or upward facing dog. Inhale. And then drag your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Exhale and soften. Give your head a little shake. And then take your gaze back to your feet, and we're gonna walk it to the back of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen out. Exhale and fold. Bend your knees, sink your hips, lift your chest. Utkatasana, chair pose. Yeah, everybody's favorite pose. Not really, nobody likes this pose, but relax your shoulders. I shouldn't say that, somebody out there probably does. Send me a message if you do. Relax your shoulders, feel your chest lift, but your hips sink. Pull your belly in. Press into your feet. Inhale, come all the way back up. Reach through the fingertips. Exhale, dive forward. Uttanasana. Halfway lift on your inhale. And let it go. We're gonna shift onto your left foot. Anchor down into the floor and plug that right leg bone into the socket. Inhale, sweep the leg back behind you, standing split. Try to keep everything square and strong. I'm going to take this left hand, maybe grab for the ankle. Maybe you're feeling a little saucy and you want to give it a whirl. You could walk the right hand to the leg too. Yeah. And if you fall over, it's okay. Embrace the wobble. Release the fingertips to the floor. Walk your hands forward. Down dog split. Inhale. Exhale, pull your knee into your nose. Inhale, take it up, reach it back. And then exhale, step your right foot up between your thumbs. If it only makes it halfway, then help it along. Drop that left heel. Windmill your arms up, warrior two. I'm gonna flip myself around so you're not staring at my back the whole time. You can stay right where you are. Virabhadrasana 2, warrior two. Feel the tops of your shoulders start to soften, and then extend energy fingertip to fingertip. And we're gonna flip this right palm up toward the ceiling, drop the left hand to the thigh. Take your arm up, extend up, 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 up through that right side body, and then drag your fingertips along the ceiling. Sink a little deeper into that right thigh. Yeah. Inhale, come on back up. Warrior two. When you exhale, take the right forearm down to your thigh, sweep your left arm alongside your ear. And notice if you started to kind of spill out behind you, hug everything in. That outer right hip's gonna curl underneath. And when that curls underneath, press back through the top of your left thigh. Root down through the outer edge of that back foot and draw that energy all the way up through the sides of your body into your left fingertips. Yes, inhale. And when you exhale, left hand's gonna come down to the floor, pivot on the ball of the back foot. Keep this left thigh lifting. Keep the left hip point engaged and don't sag, right? Keep everything lifted up and then start to roll that right shoulder open. It might mean you don't get as deep into the twist as you normally would. That's okay. Inhale here. And when you exhale, this time you're gonna take your right hand to the floor to the inside of your foot and we're gonna walk to the middle, pivot so the toes point toward the long edge of your mat and just fold here. And let the four corners of your feet stay rooted. Try to see if you can lift the arches of your feet. Maybe that sounds kind of wonky, but you want to try to activate the feet while you're working here. Roll your inner thighs toward the wall behind you and hang out. If you want to walk your hands through your legs, fingertips pointing away, kind of drag yourself deeper into it. Okay, and then slide your hands back underneath your shoulders. You're going to take your left hand and walk it forward. All right? And now the right hand is going to slither underneath your left armpit. Grab for the outer edge of your right or your left foot. Sorry, guys. And then lift to this, right? So your right hip is going to want to dip toward the floor, but try to keep the right hip lifting. Lengthen your spine, and when you exhale, you're just going to kind of pull with that right hand. And look underneath your left armpit. Little fan pose here. Deep breath. And then we release that. Bring the hands underneath your shoulders for a moment. And then walk your right hand forward as far as it can go. Gonna take your left hand, bring it underneath, grab a hold of the outer edge of your right leg. Keep that left sitting bone, that left kind of hip from dipping down too far. And then slowly, as you exhale, you can start to drag yourself into the twist. Inhale. And when you exhale, you're going to release. Walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. From here, going to slowly start to toe heel the feet a little bit closer together. Just a little bit. And then come up onto the balls of your feet. And we're going to pivot. Walk yourself over to the left. Just keep walking. Walk, 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 walk until we come all the way around. So you face the other end of the mat. So now we're facing the other long edge of the mat, right? Gonna bend your knees, take your knees to the floor, and take a seat. And I'm gonna flip around for Gomukhasana. We got this left thigh on top of the right, both sitting bones rooted down. And if you find that both sitting bones don't hit the floor, you can grab a block or a blanket and sit on that. And if this is really awkward and terrible on your knees and your hips are saying hell no, then you can always pull your right foot in, left leg in front, and work the hips from here. It's a slightly more gentle variation. Okay. And you're going to take your hands to the bottoms of your feet if you're here with me in Gomukhasana. Inhale, lengthen up, and when you exhale, just start to hinge yourself forward. Just as far as you feel comfortable going, and then stay there. There's nothing too crazy about this. Just trying to find some release in these outer hips, this left side especially. And close your eyes for a moment. If after a couple of breaths it feels good to, you can walk your hands out and let yourself just fold over the legs. Soften a little bit. Drop your chin into your chest. And then walk your hands back underneath you. You're going to slowly start to round yourself up. We're going to do our yoga party trick, right? So shift your weight forward. You're going to tuck your toes under, lift your knees, and we're going to keep the balls of your feet rooted. And we're going to pivot again, walking to the right this time. Do, 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 do. Come all the way around until ideally now your right thigh is on top. Bend your knees. Take a seat, and this side may be vastly different from the other side. So again, if you need a blanket or a block, or you just need to come into a Sukhasana variation, then by all means, do what works for you today, and maybe this will work for you someday in the future. Maybe not, that's good too. You're gonna take your hands to the bottoms of your feet, little full body mudra here. Inhale, lengthen up. And when you exhale, come out and over, trying to keep the spine long as you work your chest over the knees. All right, another breath here. And if it feels comfortable to do so, you can walk your hands forward and start to fold gently over the legs. And close your eyes. Take a minute to settle, to soften any tension that may have just jacked up into your neck and into your jaw. I don't like being here. Maybe that's what you're saying, but try to relax. Maybe shake your head a little bit, loosen up. And let your outer right hip know that it's not gonna pop, it's okay. And then from here, you're gonna slowly start to round yourself up. We're gonna take this right leg and just swing it around so we end up facing the front of the mat again. Keep your feet about hips distance apart, and you're gonna wrap your left arm around grabbing the right leg. So you don't wanna let the knees bunk in toward each other. You wanna try to keep the shins parallel. So you're gonna pull with this left hand, but also press your knee into your hand. So there's some resistance there. And then just start to walk your right hand behind you. You're gonna draw the low back in and up, inhale. And when you exhale, work gently into your twist. And every inhale you can get a little bit taller, and every exhale maybe you go a little bit deeper. And then inhale, bring yourself back through center. And we're gonna go right to the other side. So hook around with that right hand, start to spider walk your left hand behind you, and same thing, you wanna keep your left leg actively pushing into your hand. Lengthen up. And then take your twist, swivel around to the left, and you can let the twist build slowly through the low back, through the ribs, through the chest, the collarbones, the shoulders, and the head can be the last thing to join the party. And then inhale, bring yourself back through center. You're gonna plop your knees out to the side, bring the soles of your feet together, grab a hold of your ankles and press the feet into each other as you inhale. And when you exhale, we're gonna come up and then out and over. So you wanna keep the hinge in the hips. We're not gonna round quite yet. Try to keep the shoulders back. Keep the front of your body as long as the back of your body. Take a deep breath in, and when you exhale, maybe you can hinge like a millimeter more. I don't get much more than this, but maybe you do. So just work with your breath at your pace. Inhale. This time when you exhale, you can walk the hands out and round, curl your chin gently in toward your chest. Let your eyes close. and connect with your breath. And as you inhale, we're going to slowly round yourself up. Grab the outer edges of your knees, going to bring them forward, and take your legs out in front. Before we hit the floor completely, I'm going to come into a little staff pose first. Extend energy through your feet, lift up into your chest, fire up the back body, and then inhale, sweep the arms, reach them up. Exhale, gonna reach up and then out and over. And it's the same idea. For a moment, find the hinge in the hips and do your best to keep your spine long, to keep the front of your body lifting and reaching up and over. And if your hands want to just rest outside your legs, if you want to grab a hold of the legs wherever you have access, inhale. And then exhale, you can start to round and curl in for Paschimottanasana. And every exhale can draw you a little bit deeper in, to fold you a little bit more into yourself. And slide your hands slowly back underneath your shoulders. And you're just going to use your hands to help you come all the way back up. Okay, and then from here, you're going to slide your heels back in, grab the backs of your knees, roll the shoulders back, feel your low back draw in and your chest lift up. You're going to come into a little half, kind of like a half boat, right? Try to keep your shins parallel with the floor. Take your arms and reach them out. We're going to inhale and lower down, and exhale, lift back up. Inhale, lower down, and exhale, lift back up. A few more. Inhale, lower. If this is killing your low back, exhale, squeeze. You can always bring your forearms to the floor. Inhale, lower. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, lower. Exhale, squeeze. If you want to go super turbo, you can take the arms, stretch them out overhead. And then exhale, squeeze them back up. Let's do 3 more. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. 2 more. And lift. And then lower, we're gonna hover here, drag your belly button back into your spine. Inhale, flex your feet, and then drop your heels to the floor. Keep your fingertips reaching toward your feet. And then slowly you're gonna roll all the way down, drag your knees into your chest, and rock gently side to side. Make little circles on your low back in one direction, and then circles in the other direction. And then drop your feet to the floor. Take a second here, get yourself situated. Then take your arms out to the sides and let both knees drop over to the right. Take your gaze over to the left. And inhale up through the middle. And exhale, let your knees drop to the left. Take your gaze over to the right. Slow down your breath. And drag your knees back up through the middle and pull them one more time into your chest. And take a second here. If there's anything else you feel like you need, you could go for it now. If you want to drag your knees in and come on into a happy baby. If you just want to hold here for another breath or two. And then once you feel like you've moved enough to get comfortable in your Shavasana, you're going to take the legs, stretch them out. Let your feet widen out. Let your arms come away from you. Shoulder blades tuck in. And just feel the floor underneath you. And with every exhale, feel yourself softening and spreading out on the floor. You can imagine you're like butter on a hot day. You're just melting into the ground. And as your body softens and your breath slows, shift your awareness to that quiet space, that space between the breaths, that place of stillness within. And feel yourself sink into that place. And if your mind wanders, if you find yourself interrupted as you rest here, just see if you can come back, regroup, get it back together, and settle again into that place of stillness with the quiet of your breath. And if you'd like to stay here a little longer, know that that's always an option. You can pause the video here and stay. Otherwise, you're going to take a slightly deeper inhale and exhale through your mouth. Start to move your fingers and wiggle your toes. And then draw your knees in one at a time. And come to rest on your right side. And take a second here. There's no need to rush. There's no need to kind of jump out of this and into your day. Take a second. And then mindfully place your hands underneath you and press yourself up. Find a comfortable seat. And take a moment here in this place of transition between your yoga space and your every other moment of the day space. Close your eyes. Bring your palms to press into Anjali Mudra and bow your head. And say a quiet thanks to yourself for taking the time. And know that when you need to, when you feel like things are super chaotic and you just need to get it together, you can close your eyes and know that that stillness is waiting for you at the end of your next exhale. Thanks for sharing a bit of your time with me today. It was a pleasure. Namaste.